We're also focusing on giving young emerging bands an opportunity to campaign on our site, to get in front of our audience, and we're focusing on building our traffic as well in our own way, and we've been doing that over the last, in a much more kind of targeted way over the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks, and we've grown the traffic already from about 200,000 people a month to about 400,000. So we've doubled it. So I guess in coming to an end, though, I would say the other thing we're really looking forward to in 2011 is all the fantastic surprises and accidents that are going to happen to us that we haven't planned for at all. So, and thank you very much for the opportunity to tell you a little bit about my story. And if anyone's got questions, I'm happy to field them now. Sure.
But I'll ask the obvious question in terms of the content that We Are Hunting generates. What's the obvious way to monetize?
Yeah, okay. I purposely didn't do the whole, monetization thing because, I wanted to tell the story about the challenges, I suppose. So how do we monetize? So there's a number of ways. So we do license our technology to other sites. That's not really a hunted thing, but we've built a bunch of tech under the covers. So how do we monetize that? So we've licensed our tech. So it's basically a 3-year software license deal to Macquarie. We license our tech to a part of the Australians website, to Vodafone, who builds an iPhone app based upon our functionality and data, I suppose. We charge Condé Nast for what they have as well. We built the MySpace thing where it still ties into our recommendations engine, so there's a software license there, and there's professional, and all of those things I've just mentioned have professional services attached to them. But obviously when you're in a business like ours, we're trying to, professional services are fine, but we haven't really set out to build a services business, we've tried to build a product business. So as far as Hunted goes, obviously we can sell music, and the most obvious way to do that at the moment is via iTunes, but if anyone sits down and does the maths on that, you've got to be doing an awful lot of traffic to make any money at all. You've got to sell 1 million tracks basically to make $50,000. So that's one way of doing it, and that's part of the puzzle. I'm not sure there is a silver bullet to this. There's probably a number of ways of doing it. Now, out of those iTunes sales, obviously Apple takes 30%. So, there are opportunities for us to go direct to labels. Obviously, we can't sell music via an arrangement direct with labels on the iPad or the iPhone, right? You've got to use the iTunes there. But there's certainly ways that we can sell music, I think, online to, having relationships with labels and permission to do that. So we've got a couple of interesting ideas that we're actually releasing next year that I'm not going to go into in too much detail now because I think they're so hot right now. Okay, so there's that. There's ultimately we will sell promotional space on the site to bands. So about 6 weeks ago we ran the first campaign for a young emerging artist called Cock and Bull Kid out of the UK, and they basically just took the top 2/3 of the screen and we did a campaign for them. They gave us, it basically was an exclusive offer. They were releasing an album the next week, and Hunted was the only place that you could go to stream and listen to that stuff, and there was free downloads. So, and they got to our audience and they loved it. So there's certainly opportunity there as well. So tech licensing, product, we're currently experimenting with quite an interesting idea where we've licensed the wearehunted.mx, which is the Mexican version of We Are Hunted, to a very enterprising chap in Mexico City who thinks that he can sell advertising and sponsorship on the site. So we're running with that model at the moment and we're testing it. And if that works and it is showing some promise, then we can obviously roll that out into other regions and territories as well. So how much traffic are we doing at the moment? So it's about 350 to 400,000 uniques a month. And the bounce rate's fairly low. So when people find the site, they tend to stay there quite a lot. And when we get new visitors who've never been to the site before, we know they're coming back. So, and I know that, for example, because we've been experimenting with a service called Stumble Upon that you might be familiar with. For those who don't, Stumble Upon is basically a site that you go to and you say, I basically just want to go and find some new stuff out on the web that's surprising, that I've never seen before. So you do a bit of a demographic profile on yourself and say, well, you know, I'm interested in travel and music and cooking and whatever, and show me a website. So we're doing some stumble upon advertising at the moment. It's been remarkably successful. So and very, very cheap as well. We've never done any advertising whatsoever, and this has really been worthwhile. So the other interesting thing about stumble upon is most users who go there will give a thumbs up or a thumbs down whether the site kind of met their criteria and whether, you know, was it good. And we're getting a 98% thumbs up. So now we're targeting people who are into indie music, and I should probably mention it right at the beginning that very much the focus of the site is about indie music. It's not really about mainstream music, because, you know, people don't have any problem finding mainstream music. It's all over the place. I mean, you know, you already know who Lady Gaga is, but who's the next emerging Lady Gaga that you've never heard of? You know, that's, for a lot of people, that's interesting. It won't be interesting for everybody, but there's definitely a market for that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the traffic.
So have you profiled, obviously, in like a user site since you guys started? Have you profiled users before?
We have. Look, we're pretty slack, to be honest, with respect to profiling users or doing some sort of traditional, you know, let's take a sample set and do a survey and all that kind of thing. That's what I don't do. But we do know from a lot of people send us emails, or, you know, they write stuff on our Get Satisfaction widget. We know that a lot of people are from the music industry itself. So, you know, there's a lot of A&R people, artists and repertoire, basically the talent scouts, looking for new artists. Now, one of the things we do to try and flush those types out is, obviously, under the covers, we're collecting a huge amount of data about what people listen to, and you know, where it's being buzzed about, who's, you know, the up-and-coming act. So every quarter or so, we make that data available in the form of quite a glossy research report. So there's a research report on the top 100 acts on Hunted in a given quarter. And we email our list, so we do have a subscription list, an email list, but you know, they've literally just given us an email address, so, you know they're from EMI if it's an EMI email address, but that's about it. And we send that stuff out, and it always flushes out, you know, somebody from Warner, someone from Universal. Oh, you know, that's really interesting data, but I'd also like to know X, Y, and Z. You know, can you tell me something else? And, you know, our theory was that would lead to a type of professional service engagement as well. And I think it will, but, you know, the big record labels are not easy to work with at the moment. They've got problems of their own, you know. So we've done some interesting work with EMI, but, you know, it's all kind of, you know, we haven't really charged them for the stuff we've done so far, but we probably haven't done enough to profile who's using the site. Our gut feel is a lot of industry types. It's probably not, originally at least, maybe it's changing now, but originally it wasn't 15-year-olds. It was people, you know, my age, 30 to 45, who kind of loved music, played in bands maybe, got busy, had kids, a bit out of touch, don't know what's new and cool, and just need to be, they just want to drop in what's cool and new right now. And more importantly than that, what's cool and new right now that matches my taste. And I bump into people all the time who use the site, or when I describe the site to them, they go, I love that idea, I need that, because, you know, I'm a manager at Origin Energy and I don't have any time in the day, and I still love music. You know?
How did you come up with the name?
Well, the partners, Native Digital, that we worked with came up with a name, and to be honest, I don't really know, because, so, we still have a relationship with the creative guys. I mean, we have creative in-house as well, but not at the level that they have it. And so we sat around, we kind of conceived what we wanted the site to be. And they just went away and came up with the look and the brand and came back to us. And I've sat in plenty of, you know, those kind of design meetings where, and they're, here's the design, and your heart sort of drops and you go, oh my God, what is that crap? And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I just said, that is so spot on. I don't know what it is about it, but I love it. And obviously the word hunted, there's something about that word in the way that we're hunting the new sound, the new artists, that kind of thing. So I'm not exactly sure exactly how they came up with it. Good question for next time.
You said you were using early release software.
release as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Is there any feature that you wish you'd put in for the first release?
So the question was, we release often and we release early, which is kind of a techie thing for saying, you know, don't hang around and wait till it's perfect. Just get it out there and then keep improving. Was there anything that we wished we'd included in the first release that we didn't include? I mean, obviously, not contravening the YouTube terms of service might have been good. But look, I think one of the things we probably could have done earlier with the site was the first version of the site was completely not social at all. And I suppose part of that was because we see so much activity in the social space. You know, obviously you've got your Facebooks and whatnot, or Facebook. But in the music space, there's plenty of social services as well. And I suppose we wanted our site to just be, when somebody hits the site, they get it immediately. They understand what it is, and it's simple. So we intentionally left a heap of ideas that would be great out, and social was one of them. And that could have been a mistake, because clearly, you know, building a social site, if people love it, is your way to market the site. It's something that we've addressed in the last sort of 4 or 5 months, and we've now introduced a set of social features. So there's a community. You can go on to Hunted. You can create an account, and effectively then you can create your own chart. So you wander around the chart and you go, I love that one, add it to my chart. I love that one, add it to my chart. Before you know it, you've got your own chart happening, and then you can share your chart with others. And there's you can go to the community section and see all the other people's charts and go, oh, I love that chart. That person's like me. Go into that chart, and I want to discover music through this person, because all the obvious stuff. And I think that's probably we should have built that in right at the beginning. But there's only so much you can do in 4 to 6 weeks, right?